Word of these subpoenas, served by the usual grim-faced minions of the FBI, had been trailing back to MD for a week now, and Stern, at the conclusion of his most recent trial, had flown at once to Chicago to meet privately with the attorneys representing two of these customers to review the records the government required from them. The lawyers reported that the Assistant United States Attorney assigned to the matter, a young woman named Klonsky, declined to say precisely who was under suspicion, beyond exonerating the customers themselves. But to a practiced eye, this all had an ominous look. The out-of-town subpoenas reflected a contemplated effort at secrecy. The investigators knew what they were seeking, and seemed intent on quietly encircling Dixon or his companies, or someone close to him. So Stern stood travel-weary and vexed in the slate foyer of the home where Clara and he had lived for nearly 2 decades. And yet, what was it that rested his attention so thoroughly, so suddenly? The silence, he would always say. Not a tap running, a radio mumbling, not one of the household machines in operation. An isolated man, he drew, always, a certain comfort from stillness. But this was not the silence of rest or interruption. He left his bags on the black tiles and stepped smartly through the foyer. "Clara," he called again. He found her in the garage. When he opened the door, the odor of putrefaction overwhelmed him, a powerful, high, sour smell which dizzied him with the first breath and drove up sickness like a fist. The car, a black Seville, the current model, had been backed in. The driver's door was open. The auto's white dome-lit remained on, so that in the dark garage she was wanly spotlit. From the doorway he could see her leg extended toward the concrete floor and the hem of a bright floral shirt-waist dress. He could tell from the glint that she was wearing hosiery. Slowly he stepped down. The heat in the garage and the smell which increased revoltingly with each step were overpowering, and in the dark his fear left him weak. When he could see her through the open door of the car, he advanced no farther. She was reclined on the camel-colored leather of the front seat. Her skin, which he noticed first, was burnished with an unnatural, peachish glow, and her eyes were closed. It seemed she had meant to appear neat and composed. Her left hand, faultlessly manicured, was placed almost ceremonially across her abdomen, and the flesh had swollen slightly beneath her wedding rings. She had brought nothing with her. No jacket, no purse. And she had not fallen back completely. Her other arm was rigidly extended toward the wheel, and her head was pinned against the seat at a hopeless, impossible angle. Her mouth was open, her tongue extruded, her face dead, motionless, absolutely still. In the whitewashed laundry room adjoining the garage, he was immediately sick in one of the porcelain basins, and he washed away all traces before calling in quick order 911 and then his son. "You must come straight away," he said to Peter. He had found him at home. Straight away. As usual in stress, he heard some faint accentuation of the persistent Hispanic traces in his speech. The accent was always there, an enduring deficit as he thought of it, like a limp. "Something is wrong with Mother," Peter said. Stern had mentioned nothing like that, but his son's feeling for these things was sure. "What happened in Chicago?" When Stern answered that she had not been with him, Peter, true to his first instincts, began to quarrel. "How could she not be with you? I spoke to her the morning you were leaving." A shot of terrible sympathy for himself tore through Stern. He was lost, the emotional pathways hopelessly tangled. Hours later, toward morning, as he was sitting alone beneath a single light, sipping sherry as he revisited, reparsed every solemn moment of the day, he would take in the full significance of Peter's remark. But that eluded him now. He felt only, as ever, a deep, central impatience with his son, a suffering, suppressed, volcanic force, while somewhere else his heart read the first clues in what Peter had told him, and a sickening, unspeakable chasm of regret began to open.